Since she was young, Tam Cosman has always considered herself a very sleepy person. From her early kindergarten affinity with nap time to her bad habit of falling asleep in her college French class, she never really thought much of it.
And I have so many old notebooks where my pen would just kind of make these zigzags and off the page.
Little did Tam know that she was experiencing the first effects of her narcolepsy, a malady that would go on to affect the rest of her life.
Narcolepsy is a chronic sleep disorder in which a person is overcome by sudden, uncontrollable attacks of deep sleep.
Normally, much of the body's sleep-wake cycle is regulated by a tiny pinhead of around 20,000 neurons within the brain that create an important hormone called hypocretin. This hormone's distribution is controlled by the hypothalamus, a region of the brain which receives messages from the rest of the body and, among its other tasks, finds whether one should be asleep or not. When released throughout the body, hypocretin stimulates the production of several important hormones like dopamine, norepinephrine, histamine, and acetylcholine. These keep the body awake and alert throughout the day while suppressing certain nighttime-specific functions of the body, like sleep paralysis. However, in people with narcolepsy, there are far fewer of these hypocretin neurons, meaning that oftentimes the body does not know whether it should be awake or not. While the specifics are still unknown, it's widely believed that this lack of hypocretin neurons is caused by an autoimmune response, as the body finds these regulatory cells somehow hostile and foreign. This lack of regulation causes the most well-known symptom of narcolepsy, excessive daytime sleepiness. With fewer hypocretin neurons to respond to the hypothalamus, less of the wakefulness-promoting hormones are produced, causing the body to get sleepy at inopportune times. However, the absence of hypocretin also causes several other, less widely known symptoms.
One doctor described it as a slippery clutch. We slip in the daytime into REM sleep, which means we can have hallucinations.
More frightening than these hallucinations, though, is another symptom called cataplexy, which affects around 70% of people diagnosed with narcolepsy. Cataplexy is a sudden loss of muscle contraction, believed to be caused by strong emotional reactions, although is not completely understood. Oftentimes this will lead to a violent jolting movement, which can cause whiplash and other such injuries. Much about narcolepsy is still mysterious, occasionally leading to misdiagnosis, especially when less was known about the malady.
I actually initially was diagnosed with idiopathic hypersomnia, and it sounded to me initially like you're a pathetic idiot, and we have no idea why you're sleepy.
With so little about the malady understood, treatments would often be mistargeted or have unintended side effects.
One of the things that they had tried to do for cataplexy was to give people antidepressants, which would artificially limit the range of emotions they could feel. And I thought that was kind of tragic. People live an average of 14 years without diagnosis or misdiagnosed. And in that time, they learn not to feel amusement, not to laugh too hard, and I think that's tragic.
As more is learned about narcolepsy, newer and more targeted drugs are being discovered, with fewer adverse side effects. While these newer drugs do help many, the battle for public recognition and understanding still continues. Even though Tam is no longer an acting member of San Diego's branch of the Narcolepsy Network, a group she helped found to support other people with narcolepsy, she still feels very strongly about the cause.
I would also feel that it would be tragic if information that's out there about narcolepsy always being a debilitating condition becomes household knowledge. It's not the case. We have a lot of success stories just in our group, so